Hello. Today I wanted to talk about constructional drawing and explaining it. I think one thing I never did on this channel was explain the purpose of it. So I wanted to draw this, I believe it's like some type of fungus. Let me figure that out. It's a matchstick fungus. I'll include a link in the description for it. The photo's by Seth Ausubel. And I wanted to draw, how about this one right here? So I'm not going to draw all of them, but to kind of show the example, I'll just do the leftmost one right here. So starting out, there are a lot of ways to handle it, but I always have found using a line to show the initial axis is really helpful. So the first line kind of like it curves like that, and what we'll do as we add more stuff on is, well, I'll do it now. I'm going to add ellipses along this line that we drew. It acts as it was an axis line to help us orient everything as we do the construction. It's important to think about the degree of the ellipse and kind of like how it's positioned. So like I had to redo that one because looking at our mushroom here, the top one is pretty flat on, and I kind of made it a bit too curved to the right. So I'm putting ellipses all along this axis. And even though we can't see the base of the fungus, I am going to put another ellipse to kind of end it. Okay, so we have our ellipses. And to sum it up, I'm going to draw a line on both sides, and I am trying to hit all of the major points. Another thing that I would recommend is it's called ghosting your line. The essence of ghosting lines is to get in practice of drawing the line you're about to draw before you actually draw it. Like, it's drawing without drawing. So you kind of like go over your page as if you were going to draw the line, but you don't draw the line. And you try to hit all of those points, even though I missed it here, here. I hit that one. I think I hit that one. And I did hit the end one. Now I have to do it for the other side. Okay, so we have our stem that also goes through this matchstick fungus. But now we have to draw this weird shape. And the other important thing is that this shape, it like really goes over the contour of our stem. So I'll show you. I think I made it a little bit too small. I'm going to extend it a little bit down further. So you'll see I ended that line. Okay, so like I tried to add 2 lines to try to summarize it. I think I made it a little bit too small. Maybe it should have gone down a little bit further. Now the other thing is, at the top, it's rounded. It kind of has this additional cap, and that is important to include. So I would probably work on this again, I think, if I had to correct my mistakes. I think another important thing about constructional drawing is to really try to be as accurate to your reference as possible, and I think I screwed up a lot. Like, I think I really should have pushed that curve. And the other thing is sometimes you have to estimate how high you want to go. I mean, sometimes you could also, like, you could use your hand and you could try to estimate like an endpoint and, or sorry, a start point and an endpoint. That could also be a helpful thing before you even draw the axis line. It really helps you plan even more before you do the actual drawing. I feel like you can never have enough prep time in constructional drawing. Now I drew that line, but I think it should be a little more curved. I think about that. But now I keep looking at the top, and I think in this segment it should have been more straight. Like, I want it to curve, but it kind of needs to like go a bit up more, kind of like that. It is difficult to ghost ellipses, especially small ones. I find it to require a lot of practice in and of itself. And I think you do have to do, like, you kind of have to break down a lot of things before you could really be confident in constructional drawing, like ghosting lines, ghosting ellipses, understanding how to break things down. Sometimes it can be beneficial. Like, you didn't have to follow the order that I did it for that one, but like in this event, maybe I want to draw the cap first. I have a lot of videos in which I drew spiders, and I like to kind of cap off the ends of their legs first. I just like to do that. It was just kind of a habit. I guess that it's more of an art than following any recipe, and you kind of just have to do a lot of it to get in the flow and get used to it. You don't always have to execute entire shapes all in one. You can sometimes break it into a couple segments. Now I think I should have pushed it a little bit more. Kind of like that. The other important thing here is that I drew this form, but you just as well could have drawn ellipses in here to kind of show the 3D quality. Like, you could have, originally when I drew the stem, I just put a bunch of ellipses in there, and you could do that as well, but you also have to find a healthy balance of the overlap without it being too much. I do think drawing through your forms could be very beneficial. It also helps you get used to a thing that I would call a line debt. And I think one thing that helps a lot is understanding everything sits in a 3D space in some way. And the other thing is, in construction, sometimes you may summarize things when the reality of them is a bit different. So when I drew this stem before, I drew it just as like a straight line. But if you really look further and you look at this thing, well, you'll see that the stem kind of has certain areas that are a bit more jaggy. So when you do make some lines that summarize, they won't always be as clean cut and perfect as you may truly want them to be, but it can be very good for understanding the general thing. I think maybe at about the halfway point, it's like kind of like there. Actually, it's even in more. Maybe like that. I think it's a bit too sharp with how I did it. Another important thing that I wanted to talk about constructional drawing is revisiting the thing you drew. I think if you do it just once, you're not going to be able to get all of the good information that you need to. I think, trying it again and again, you may do it so many times that you'll eventually learn it, and you may not have to do it again. So the other thing I wanted to mention is that I just did this very small example of a fungus, but there are a lot of other methods and different ways and tricks to handle all different types of things in 3D space. I do recommend you look at my other videos on that. If you do have a question regarding something, you could ask in the comments below, and I could try to help answer that. Maybe I'll even do something if you have it. I have done other videos for people before to try to explain how like something will sit in 3D space. Do avoid tracing. I think constructional drawing, it's a lot more beneficial to your time and the understanding, and also drawing stuff rather than tracing over stuff. Sometimes in examples I will like trace over them to kind of show how it sits in 3D space, but I tend to avoid tracing because I feel like you can't learn as much over that. Like the videos that I did do tracings over, and I clearly made it clear that I was tracing over it. I believe it was a box fan and a bike. But I think if I would do that again, I probably would try to just draw it to the side, because I find that to be a lot more beneficial. But yeah, if you liked the video, please like it. If you have a question, ask below, or you could email me. And if you like my channel, please subscribe. The last thing I would say, yeah, see my other videos for more information about constructional drawing. Bye.